welcome to Avented in the Ink. I'm your host, Matt, with my co-host.
This is Scott.
And I'm Mike.
And, yeah, we're here to talk about Lorcana, game we're all very much interested in, we really enjoy. Quick introduction of ourselves, and I don't know if we're going to post the episode before this one or not, or if you guys ever into it, but I've been a store owner for about 6 years now for a local gaming store, and I've been playing trading card games since I've been like 6 years old.
I have been a Disney fan since I can remember, ever since I was like 4 or 5, and so bringing Lorcana Disney into the trading card world just brought me back into that world, which I've been in and out of for the last 20-some years, but now I am here to stay.
And I love to play games. It's probably the number one thing you need to know about me. I have a history with card games dating back to when Magic the Gathering came out, but I've played for maybe about 15 years, and then took about a 10-year break, and I heard that Lorcana was coming out, and I was super excited to hear that there's this new trading card game. It's always fun to get on the ground floor, and I came to the first event here at Adventure Inc., and I've been hooked ever since.
All right. So, because Into the Inklands are coming out, I don't know, it might actually be out by the time we actually post this episode. So this week's episode, that's where they're going to be talking about Into the Inklands. So what do you guys think about the new set?
I'm excited for the new set, mainly for the new characters that are coming out and for the new locations coming out. It's enough of a fresh blood type situation that it's keeping the game fresh even this early into it. So it's going to at least keep us interested in the game, keep the game changing, evolving, but it's not changing enough that it's going to seem like a whole new game.
Yeah, I'm super excited for it. I mean, we get another 204 cards, which obviously some of them are almost exact copies of other cards, but that's 204 new, well, more than that, pieces of art.
It's 226 cards.
Yeah, if you include the alternate arts and the enchanted. And yeah, I think anytime you increase a card base by 50%, it's not just, an additive change. It's a, kind of a combinatorial, factorial change. So there's, millions of more different types of decks that you can make. And I think this set, yeah, it looks very interesting. It looks like they're trying to direct you down some paths, but I'm excited for what everyone comes up with.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm definitely happy to see that there's a couple of different deck concepts that got a lot the thought in the first chapter that are about to be very playable.
Don't let him lie to you. He's just excited for Magic Rooms.
Oh, that's so great. But it's not just Magic Rooms. Like, Bodyguard that had a lot of love in the first chapter, and now getting a lot more love. Mm-hmm. Discord is about to become viable. So there's a lot of cards that we've had the groundwork for that I think this new set we're gonna actually see in the meta of a lot of these decks. So I'm very excited to see what people come up with.
I've already seen people talking about it online, and the combos that they're already coming up with actually make me want to go play those combos.
Yeah, and I saw one on Reddit today talking about the green beast that stands up when damage is done. With that card doubles in value, and I would actually surprised how I thought that card was going to be a lot more valuable, and now it's starting to get to the value I thought it was going to be at.
Yeah, especially now. Like I bet you and me saw the exact same combo. It was the Beast, location, and Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yep. Yeah.
It's almost an infinite loop.
So this combo, for the people who don't know, there's a new location. I don't know the name off the top of my head. But when a character quests there, you can draw a card and discard a card. That then triggered, so you have beat quest, that triggered the location, the fact you discard a card, which Cricketer of Nottingham would deal 1 damage to opponent creature. When that damage
Yes.
is done, beat stand back up, and you repeat the process. And if your opponent happen to have 10 damage on the board that you can take or deal, I get give, or able to receive. Anyway, that will keep going till you win, because you only have to do that 10 times.
Yeah, because of the lore that the beast gives you.
Yeah.
For those that, just so everyone knows, the location card that Matt was talking about is the Bayou location card that comes out into the Inklands.
Yeah, it's a 1-cost location, inkable, which is great, and it only costs 1 to move your character there. So yeah, like you were saying, that turn, what is it, 6? You can play that the Beast Relentless.
Yeah, so the earliest you could do this is turn 7. And honestly, if you're smart, you have to play the Bayou on turn 7. And always have the Beast and the Huntsman out
The Sheriff.
of the tail. You have to have those 2 out by turn 6. So this is a combo that is going to be deadly if you can pull it off, but I don't think it's going to be super overpowered, because it requires your opponent to actually have a table board with this adopted combo, and also like you have to have beat out for 1 turn, and most people realize that beat is kill on sight.
And not only is people realize beast is kill on sight, but now that people know about this combo, because people have been talking about it, people are already playing. Like, if you see that Sheriff comes out, you see that Beast comes out, either one of them, you know they're building up to this combo.
Mm-hmm. And this land only have 3 willpower, so like the land is very easy to take out.
Yeah, so if they put out the location early, you could challenge right into it. I think it's interesting from a, like, thinking about the types of decks that people will bring, knowing that this exists. It almost forces every deck you make to have something that will, have like straight up removal or direct damage, or some way to make, the beast not be able to quest would be another, like reckless, or
Yeah, you have to have a way to deal with your opponent, and that can be said for any deck. Like a lot of my casual deck struggle when they don't. Like my healing deck right now, I have very little interaction with my opponent's side of the board in that deck, and I'm basically hoping that I can just go off before my opponent does.
Which you do half the time.
Yeah.
We know from experience.
the other way you could combat this combo is if you have Cogsworth or characters with Ward, basically make your characters unchoosable.
It's nice to see all the combos, and it's nice to know that these game designers are doing a good enough job with the game, and nothing feels super broken yet.
Mm-hmm. But still feels powerful.
Yet. That still feels powerful, but there's ways around every game. So,
I think the most card that feels the most broken is that Beast. But that's changing. Into the Inklands is changing that.
yeah. And also, there's a simple way to unbreak him. Just make it a rule that characters can only quest once per turn. And that the simple, if he becomes too powerful, they make that a rule, he's done. And he's still a good card, he still have a lot of good uses.
Yeah. In the I think they're gonna keep it just because they purposely, have some things that say you can't quest after you're ready, and this one obviously they knew you could. But another way that you could combat this is, sorry again, I have to put my money in the Keyforge jar. In Keyforge, they had something called the Rule of Six, which I thought was great. It allowed the designers to come up with wild combos and whatever else, but to prevent people from going infinite or nearly infinite, they said you can only use cards with the same name up to 6 times in a turn, and after that, you just aren't allowed to do it. So there could be something like that they could implement if it gets out of hand.
They could, but like Matt was saying with this card, this combo, it only works if your opponent has the 10 hit points on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Based on experience just from us playing, that doesn't happen.
Yeah,
a lot.
If you're trading.
Yeah, especially since like the deck I run my beast in is a damage dealing deck. Like I'm constantly wearing on my opponent's side of the board.
Mm-hmm. What if it's Oh, I guess they don't have healing in those two colors. I was like, maybe you could heal their card so you can keep dealing damage to them. Yeah, it's lots of combos I think that are going to come to the forefront at the start of this when the set comes out.
So what are you guys' thoughts on locating cards? The new card, but coming out in this set.
I'm waiting to see how they physically play. I'm excited for the cards. I like the card artwork itself, the concept of locations. I want to see how it physically plays. I've seen it going multiple different ways, so I need to physically see a game played with the locations in it to see if I'm going to like locations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be a feel-bads moment when you have two locations in your hand and they're the only two playable cards, and they have, characters on board that can challenge right into it and take them out. At that point, do you just not play them? I don't know. I'm still optimistic though for locations, just because they have big bodies, and I like my big body decks. The princess deck that I made is a lot of fun, and so it forces, anytime you can get your opponent to challenge into something that you have, that card can almost read, stop your opponent from questing this turn.
Yep. Yeah, that's going to be the biggest thing. I'm curious to see how the meta affects that with the location. It's another priority target where you have to figure out, is it worth taking out the location? Is it better for me to quest? I can see location either being a way to trick your opponent into attacking that, so you can then play like a card of rut of looking to come in and take out that opponent.
Because you also gotta remember, basically the locations are going to be free lore when you play them. So your opponent's like, do I want to just give them that free lore or not?
Yeah, I think psychologically, if it's just a character, you may still say, oh, well, maybe they're not going to quest with that character next turn. They're going to challenge with it. But once they play that location, they're going to be getting that lore.
And one thing I learned in my years of the play Magic Gathering, players a lot of time do snap judgment, and they don't really do individuals. I think we're going to find a lot of players that are going to be like, oh, location does a kill on sight. And then when you realize your opponent is that type of person, you can trick them into prioritizing location over your other characters who they should be prioritizing.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a vanilla location in most of the colors, so if you can absorb 4 damage each time by playing for 1 lore, that's not too bad. It is, card disadvantage, but you can make them lose kind of tempo, so.
And like some of the locations have like 7, 8 body, so like it can like take them like 2 to 3 characters to actually take out these locations early game.
Yeah. The other thing that I think will be interesting to see if cards that were not great in the first 2 sets because their stat lines were high strength, low willpower, suddenly become more effective because there's a very valuable location and you want to have defense for that location. So you're running the Scar that's a 5/3, for 4. And, seeing people run cards like that where you just would not see that in play because a 2-drop could take that out.
Yeah, but like there's a amber location. It might be Pride Rock. That the character Tio cannot be challenged.
Oh, you're thinking of the Tiana's restaurant, right?
Maybe that one I'm thinking of.
Pride Rock is the one that gives them more willpower, and if you have like a royalty out there, then you get you can play characters for 1 less.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But yeah, the not being able to challenge there is very interesting. I like mechanics in games where it makes you adapt.
Yeah.
You have to say, okay, how am I going to play this differently now? I need to respond to these things rather than games where, if you have 2 aggro decks going against each other, a lot of people complain because they're like, all I do is just turn my character sideways. Cards like this definitely force you to play differently and to respond to your opponent.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see. I feel like the way they're handling locations is different than what I've seen in other trading card games, like Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! Where you have a location and it affects both sides of the board, and you can only have like one on the field at a time. So like these feel a lot more like Planeswalkers from Magic the Gathering. Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious to see how they are really gonna change up. I'm excited for them. I feel like we were talking about this before that I feel like some decks are going to run them pretty heavily, but I feel like that we're probably going to see one, maybe two meta decks that just not running any.
Okay, it's just like any other cards.
Yeah.
Some people are going to really take to these cards, some people are not.
Yeah.
What I'm going to find interesting, and I've already been thinking around this, is most Lorcana decks, 60 cards.
Yeah.
Some people are running 62, 63, 64. Are they going to use locations to replace some of their cards, or are they just going to add them to their decks and make them bigger decks?
Honestly, like you unless you are doing a draw heavy or a discard deck, you should be doing 60.
I'm replacing cards in
Yeah.
my decks with locations. I'm already planning on running 60,
Yeah.
maybe 62.
Yeah, the saying that I've heard before is always, no matter what, in any 60 card deck, there's going to be one worst card, or the card that you want to see, don't want to see. And so anytime you add more cards, you're not increasing your efficiency or ability to see a better card. But, you know, I also run a 70 card deck because it's a mill deck, so...
So, what are the cards you are most looking forward to from this deck?
DuckTales and Robin Hood. Without a doubt. Not because these cards are good, not because these cards are fantastic, simply because of my love for DuckTales and Robin Hood.
Are you going to run the Huey, Dewey, Louie package, or...?
As of right now, no, but I'm running a Robin Hood package.
Okay.
I am building an entire deck that's just Robin Hood. And the characters from that movie.
He's got a lot of good cards. I mean, even from the first set, the 4/4 for blue and blue wasn't terrible.
Well, I think that's the only one you can't run in the deck you were gonna build.
Because you're running what
Yes.
colors?
It's most likely going to be Amethyst Steel.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's most of the new Robin Hoods are no colors.
So yeah, the one Robin Hood you like can't be ran in the deck.
Well, that's okay. Let's see. For me, I would say the cards I'm looking most forward to are probably the ones that everyone else said, you know, just because it's going to force you to play differently. The new 7-cost Jafar, is it something illusionist or something? Yeah. He allows you to gain a lore anytime you draw a card if he's exerted. And he's in Amethyst, and there are so many draw cards in Amethyst. And you think about pairing that with a whole new world, which could draw you into another whole new world. And he's got enough, he costs enough that he can sing a whole new world. So I'm really excited to see what kind of decks people make out of that, and then what people do to combat that.
Yeah. I'm excited for finally getting broomed.
I told you.
We got Mickey in the first Magic Broom in set 1. And they introduced us to the idea of Broom Tribal. And I was so sad waiting for all the reviews for the first chapter. And like, oh, not another broom. Okay, maybe next week. Not another broom. And then set 2, we only got 1 broom. I need 3 brooms to make a deck.
So I'm assuming then you're going to run it in Amethyst Steel?
Yeah, I'm gonna mess around with Amethyst Steel and see how I feel about it. I'm probably gonna be running all but one of the brooms. Mm-hmm. The 6-drop one. Which one is that one?
That would be this one.
Yeah, the Dancing Dexter. That one does not look as good as the other one, so I'm probably not gonna play that one. But I'm super happy for the Sorcerer location, which is gonna synergize well. And I just feel like brooms are gonna be fun. I'm also really excited for the discard stuff. I feel like that's actually like we kind of like talked about for the previous set. I think that is actually gonna be very viable to do graveyard recodes in. So like that's gonna be Amber Steel. You have the Amber to get the stuff out of the graveyard. You have Steel to put stuff in your graveyard or discard. So that could use the right terminology for this game.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna be very interesting, and I feel like that's gonna be a fun deck to play.
Yeah, it always feels good when you have the answer and you know you can, fetch it. You can go back and get it, whether or not that's from your discard, or Amber also has the ones that you look at the top four, cards and find the character you need or find the song you need through Ariel. I've always liked those decks, and that was kind of the first deck that I made too. So I'd be excited to see if you brew up something that's zombie princesses.
We were literally just joking about that the other day, of zombies and princesses together.
Which is funny because that would make the Snow White a necromancer, because every time she quests, you bring someone back from the graveyard to your hand. Oh,
this is getting way too weird.
I'm sensing a fanfic coming.
Oh, it's already out there.
yeah. So, how do you guys feel about the Trove and gift set for this time around?
I'm excited for the Trove. I'm so happy they changed and got rid of those crappy deck boxes. They were paper thin, literally, because they were made out of paper. So I'm so very excited to see these damage dice and the lore counter. I want to see them now. I'm impatient, but I can wait. But I'm excited that we're getting new items in the Trove.
Yeah, getting the low counter, I think, is going to be really good. I like the dice are good, because most people in our play group use the dice instead of the tokens.
Except for me. I still use those tokens.
I would like to see, and it's not coming out this time, but better damage tokens. The dice is fine, but I would like things...
Non-cardboard.
Yeah, or thick cardboard, not just paper thin. And sorry, Keyforge reference again, even their cardboard tokens were still nice, but that community, and I'm sure other communities do it too, with all the 3D printing and everything else that's out there, you can get some pretty nice, fancy looking damage counters to bling out your, play mat and everything else with.
I'm not going to say the website, but everyone knows there's a certain website you can go to where people are selling those damage counters you want.
Link is not in the show notes.
I'm pretty sure we can say Etsy. I think as long as we don't say a specific person, we can say Etsy. Because damage counters themselves are not copyrighted.
Yeah, but if they have a certain shape of a certain friendly mouse...
Honestly, there are so many different ones out there right now.
I mean, Teamboat Willie is in public domain. You can make damage counters that look like Teamboat Willie and not get in trouble.
So why are we doing a podcast? We could be 3D printing this and printing money.
We can cock after this, though.
All right.
I do have a 3D printer.
And I do have a side business.
All right. Stay tuned for our next episode. How to make money off of other people's IP.
Public domain is your friend. Act Disney. That's how they got their starts.
That's true. They took all those stories and turned them into, made it more accessible to everyone, right? Through animation, and look at them now.
But I really want to talk about the gift set. So the gift set, for people, if anyone listening don't know, is 2 oversized foil cards. Then they have 2 playable foil cards. So you're getting a regular side card and an oversized card of 2 different characters. 34 damage counters, 4 booster packs, and 2 lore cracker tokens. Last set provided the Floodborn. They gave us 6 alternate artwork cards and the 4 booster packs. I like last set way better than this set, and I feel like the gift sets are not good, and are really the only Lorcana project I'm not buying.
What's the MSRP? Do you remember?
I believe these are 35 or 40.
These I thought were 30.
Oh no, they are 30. Yeah,
I thought these were 30.
And then how many packs are in them?
4.
Yeah, not great value. Is that
the draw for the gift sets are the oversized card. This is the only way to get those oversized cards. So if you like them, it's not that bad.
But
but they're not usable in any way. They're literally just for collectors.
Yeah, they're not usable. They don't retain value. They don't have retail value. More people that they kind of sit there. They're more just like to give the kids. And like, I've heard people call this kind of stuff as just like casual bait.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I got the gift set from set 1. I have the first 2 oversized cards. They're literally just sitting on my desk at home right now.
Yeah.
They're just sitting there.
Yeah, and like the damage counter, like the cheap cardboard, it's not worth it. And then the lore tracker token, which look kind of cool, but they all, I believe the same cardboard as the...
They are. The only nice thing about the lore trackers, again, this is the only way you can get the lore tracker, is to buy the gift set. They have the characters of the oversized cards on them as well.
But like, really the only people that use these type of lore trackers, which is basically just for the audience at home, they are a circle with the Lorcana signature diamond in the middle. So if you buy a dollar deck and you use that play mat that have 1 to 20, you can use the lore tracker for that. I've seen some custom play mats have that 1 to 20 tracker, but the official play mats don't have them. And then also, we have the Trove, which we talked about, have the dice down counted and the lore tracker with just a little token, or a spin dial token that you can see the number.
We're thinking it might be a spin dial. We don't know if that's what is coming into Trove. The spin dial tracker is what they've released so far as promo items.
I think I read some of it, but yeah, we don't know for sure. But if it is the case, the Trove is way better for actual players of the game. The gift that is more likely is going to be parents buying stuff for the kids. So it's not bad for that, but it's the one thing that like I'm just not picking up.
Okay, so we know Matt's not getting it. Mike?
Oh man, yeah. I didn't. If I was able to for the first set, I would have picked up a gift set, but I just never saw them in stores. They were all already purchased by the time I got there. The second set, I did pick up one at MSRP, so I'm glad I didn't pay twice that. It's still sitting at home unopened, but I mainly got it for the alternate art, and just those are definitely going to be collector, limited print. And I'm not typically someone who just buys things to hold on to them, but I think it would be nice to have them around in a few years. This set, I'm probably not going to buy it. I know in Magic they had these oversized cards way back when, and they weren't ever useful, or it's even hard to store them.
Yeah. I think for me, for this gift set, it's literally going to boil down to availability. If I find it in abundance where I can say, hey, you know what? I have the money, I might as well just pick one up. I might. Mm-hmm. I'm not going out of my way to get this set, though.
Yeah. The Trove I will go out of my way for.
Oh, yeah. Trove, absolutely. I want that Trove. Mm-hmm. I got the Trove from the first 2 sets. I love my Trove boxes. I want this one so bad.
Yeah, the boxes are pretty good for storing cards or your bulk commons, uncommons, etc., which is nice.
And I'll be honest, sleeves, deck boxes this time around, DuckTales, Robin Hood, I'm sold.
I am still mad that they don't make the trees and the playmat and the deck boxes all the same games. I want my trees and deck mat to match my playmat. But then again, I have yet to be able to actually get a playmat for the game.
Do you get like a synergy when you have all 3? You just draw better cards, or everything does plays better?
Yeah, it does look better. It does feel better.
Yeah,
you feel complete.
Sure.
I felt like the playmats have always been good. I like the artwork they're choosing. I just don't like how they don't synergize. And it feels weird that like they get so close and then they decide to make the playmat different. And they don't, like I said before, they don't put the low tracker number on it, which I think would justify a lot of the other stuff that come to the total deck and the gift set.
That is the one thing I do wish the official playmats had a lore tracker on it.
Yeah, I know, right, the official Lorcana rules for competitive haven't been really released, but they say that for tournaments you can't even have the spin down dials because those are too easy to like spin up or spin down. Someone's not paying attention. They want you to have pen and paper, pencil and paper.
The spin dials can actually be used in tournament.
Yeah,
It can be.
Yeah.
You just cannot use anything that's electronic connected to the internet.
Yeah.
I thought okay.
Spin dials are fine, but you can't, like the tracker in the app can't use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was an issue because I never played Magic that competitively.
Like,
But so using dice as counters was very commonplace. But
Yeah.
when I heard that people why doesn't Keyforge or other games that have required counters use dice? And they say, it's too easy if someone knocks the table, the dice to roll to the wrong number, and then if you don't remember what it was because you have 1,000 counters out there,
Yep.
it's just hard to remake the game.
And that's
state.
where the pen and paper comes into play, for you to record down what happened each turn.
Yeah, and also it's not supposed to be like you keep track of yours, your opponent keep track of theirs. It's supposed to be you keep track of both yours and your opponent's. That
Right.
way that any discrepancies you can both. What's the nice thing about Lorcana right now because it's very easy to backtrack and figure out
Yeah.
stuff.
Sorry, I'm looking at the sleeves right now. I'm like, I want them so bad.
Has there been any word of the quality is going to be increased from the first two sets?
Not that I've seen anywhere. I'm still going to get these sleeves. I didn't get any of the sleeves from set 2. I got all of set 1. But I am going to get these. I just know I've already prepared, got to double sleeve them just to make them playable.
Yeah, like they look great, but the fact that for people at home who haven't played with them, they don't double well.
Is it that they just catch on the edges or cards fall out or what?
It's they stick together. They don't have that smooth finish that allows them. And it's the same thing when you're playing the cards on the mat. When you go to exert your characters, they don't exert well. They get stuck on the mat.
Wow.
It's just the quality that they're using isn't as smooth as some other card sleeves out there.
But you can buy oversized protector sleeves, and you put those on smooth sailing.
And that's what I do. I have all my Lorcana decks are in Lorcana sleeves, and then I oversleeve them, and they work great.
The problem is when you're playing your 101 Dalmatian deck, and then your deck becomes a foot tall.
I am waiting for people to break that 99 puppy card. But people at home, there's a new card in the deck that's like Dalmatian puppies, and you can have 99 of them in your deck, and they have 5 different artwork for them.
Yeah, don't get me started. I'm still not happy about the fact that there's 5 different artwork for one card.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, they're all, at least the dogs are all different poses, but the background is the same. It's not completely different. Like,
Yeah, and it's the fact that it's the exact same card. Like when they did other characters that were similar, they were still different cards. Like they function differently. This literally is the exact same card, 5 different artworks, all numbered the exact same card.
Well-
They're just numbered A, B, C, D, E.
Well, so this is more a way to do it, because if someone's actually trying to get 99, they're gonna put more out on the market for them, and they're gonna give the variety to the deck. They're gonna look nicer on the board. They're gonna make it easier to tell which ones are fresh and which ones are still drying.
Then make them different card numbers. Make them a separate card.
so,
Like you have so
I-
many characters where it's a character with a different title. You could have easily made these Dalmatian Puppy subtitle, Dalmatian Puppy different subtitle.
would you want that to take up 5 card slots? Like, because that's 4 other cards you're not getting on a 204 card set.
I would be a lot happier with that than having 5 artwork for one card.
I like it. For me, it feels like a bonus. As long as the only thing I'll be upset at, which I don't know if you alluded to, Matt, but the way you were talking about it makes it think that they're going to be 5 times more common than your other commons. And I
So-
hope that's not the case.
So the way we'll kind of pack all is that you guaranteed 1 common in each, maybe 2 commons in each color.
There's 1 in each color.
Yeah,
One of
one
each
one
color.
common in each color. I definitely think you're gonna have a higher chance to get one of these 5 puppies.
Ooh.
But again, like the design,
He's just making this sound worse.
the designs are 199 of them, and I want to see someone break these cards. I'm also gonna I'm working on making a game format just based around the 99 puppies.
So the one that immediately comes to my mind is the Pride Rock card, the location. And once you get you need two of those locations out, which is going to be hard if you're running a 100 card deck. Yeah. But if somehow you manage it, or sort your deck in a certain way, and you get both out with a character with like royalty cards on them, then you can play them for free. And you have to have a Stitch Rockstar, but then you could go off and go infinite.
Oh yeah, I'm curious to see how exactly people are gonna break them, and I feel like it's gonna be a fun card. I feel like a lot of people are gonna have a lot of fun with it.
I'm not upset about the card. The only thing I'm upset about is the different artwork for one card. That's all. Yeah. Otherwise, I'm excited to see who plays a 99 puppy deck.
Yeah, I think until you pair it with something that allows them to replace themselves, you've just, a 2/3 for 2 is great on a 2-drop, but you don't want that every turn. So, you get to turn 6, turn 7, and you're drawing a 2/3. It's just, it's not going to be as effective until you get those other synergies in, and you just run, your card efficiency runs so low at that point.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be one of those games I feel like if you do build a deck around them, like 9 times out of 10, anything gonna happen. You gotta hope you get that starting hand and have your other useful card and not the puppy.
Yeah. I guess you could run 0 to hero and play something that costs 99 for free.
Well, the Pongo Perdita cards are playing off of the puppies this turn, so
yeah.
And Amber's always been what do people call it? Like the Weenie United decks. The small low cost creature that you want to go wide with.
Yeah, it definitely just leaned hard into that theme. So yeah, it's on theme. I don't know. I agree with you. It would be fun to build, but yeah, I would imagine it having like a 25% success rate.
Yeah.
Puppies are going to become the equivalent of Magic's rats.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the Eel, Photon and Jetsam are about to become triggered.
Oh yeah.
I'm a type of those. I am gonna mess around with a deck with those guys to see how that plays. I feel like that's gonna get some confusing board states.
Mm-hmm. So for those of you who are listening and aren't familiar with what slivers are, in Magic the Gathering, I don't know, what was it, Exodus set, I think? They introduced a card type called Sliver, and they're all different creatures, which are equivalent to characters in Lorcana, and each of them gave abilities to all of the other characters or creatures that had the same type as it. So you would have one that would say, all slivers gain haste, or all slivers get +1 defense, and they all benefit, and it becomes, this kind of very overwhelming board state once someone gets 3 or 4 of them on the board.
Yep, and I'm very curious to see if Jetsam and Photon, if we're gonna every few sets get more of them, and right now they give keyword to each other, but not to themselves. So they're gonna be so I don't think they're gonna be as broken as Triggered, but I think we're gonna see a lot of fun board dates with them, and it's gonna be really interesting to see.
Yeah, but don't they already have the abilities kind of built in? I know in the first one they did.
Some do.
Yeah.
Looking into the Inklands now, the Flotsam card only gives Jetsam abilities.
Yeah.
So is that the +3s?
+3 attack.
But he is a 5/2, right?
Yes.
So,
But the Jetsam does give ward to Flotsam.
And that one does have ward.
And
itself?
it has ward.
Yeah.
So basically so each one have a keyword, and they give the keyword to the other counterpart.
Not Flotsam.
Yeah.
So what's interesting...
So, but how that balance is though, when you take the Flotsam from the first chapter and the Flotsam into the Inklands, they don't benefit each other. But you put any Jetson down, then the benefit they're gonna go to the Flotsam.
So if you play
Oh, right.
Flotsam and
Got
Jetsam
it.
from both sets, your characters are going to end up with Evasive, Rush, and Ward.
Yeah, but not one character are gonna have all three though.
Right, because they don't do it to the same name
Yeah.
of the previous set. So the Flotsam
Actually, it will.
from-
It will now. You take the Jetsam from the first set, who has Rush,
Yeah.
and then he's given Evasive, and
Yeah.
he's given Ward.
Yeah.
So he actually will have all three keywords.
Yeah, but
He just will not have the bonus attack.
sure. And so the one thing to note is out of all those bonuses that you get, none of them are additive except for the +3 attack power, correct? So really you could have, that's the only one that you get benefit of having more
Yeah.
than one. So just interesting thing to note.
But having a character with Evasive and Ward, he's going to be a nice little target.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried making a deck like that in Chapter 2, my Emerald Sapphire deck with Sardine Can and Evasives. Just ended up being mostly a mono blue deck, but you know, whatever.
It happens.
So what do you two think about the starter deck for this set?
They're starter decks. They're literally just what the name implies. They're just to help someone get started into the game. I'm not too thrilled that some of the cards are being reprints of the first and second set. Or is it all second set reprints? Nope, that's first and second.
Yeah.
I see a flounder here, so
And Dragonfire.
Well, it's good that Dragonfire is back in the deck because that's a card that everyone should have full copies of. And putting look like the 2 copies in the starter deck was good for new players. I think that alone it makes it a must buy for any new player.
But hey, look at the second starters deck. You're getting your puppies.
Yeah, you get one of each artwork, which is very nice.
so I usually just look at the rares that are in these. And I honestly, so I haven't looked at too many of these. I see that they have the new 2-drop Simba Uninkable. That's the 1/1 Quest for 3 in the red Ruby Sapphire one. Yeah, I'll tell you next week how I think, because I'll definitely pick up one of each and try to play them out against each other.
I think this is probably the first time, though, I'm going to say that the starter deck, just looking at the cards, not playing it yet, I think this is going to be the first time a starter deck's not viable as a competitive deck.
The first chapter ones are not viable as a competitive deck.
And yet, the first chapter ones, I picked up some of the starter decks and would play against people that built decks, and the starters won every time. I don't know if that was just poorly constructed decks or...
Yeah, I would say, so for the first set, there were certain ways that you could play the starter decks, and you could eke out a win. I would say you play 10 games, you're going to lose 8 against one that was constructed.
Yeah, like the Emerald Ruby one actually had decent removal, and then like the Teal one had some decent removal too.
But to me, they were better than just starter
Yeah.
decks. Now, these are starter decks. These are just decks to help you get started into playing the game.
All right, I've got a challenge now. I'm going to come to League with one of these decks, and I'm going to try to beat you.
Bring it on.
But like also the nice thing about the multiplayer mode is the deck you can grab one of them, you play the multiplayer mode, and you still have a chance to win.
Yeah, they say, well, they say, early bird gets the worm, second mouse gets the cheese. You don't want to be in first place in a multiplayer game. You get taken out real quick.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
I mean, I played Goblin in Commander.
I'm not too sure how I feel about the combos of the characters in these two starters. We're getting Ruby and why can I never Sapphire, and the other one is going to be Amethyst and Emerald. Not sure if I like those matchups.
Well, so far they have not repeated any matchup yet with the Ignite.
Mm-hmm.
So letting people, it gives you a better chance to like mess around with the colors.
But I'm not too thrilled Moana and Scrooge McDuck, and then it's going to be the Dalmatians with Neverland.
The puppy that never grew old.
Yeah. I like it. I mean, I don't know. I think it would, in general, for deck building, it's fun to have a competitive deck that also is on theme for like a single movie or maybe 2 movie IPs. But for this kind of stuff, I don't know. I like the idea of like characters you would never expect to see next to each other playing out, you know.
I still want to see, I know Matt and me talked about this way back when Lorcana came out. I still want to see starter decks that are based around individual movies. Instead of having like Moana and Scrooge, you have like an entire Little Mermaid starter deck.
Against Lion King.
Yeah. And at this point, there's enough cards that they can do that.
Yeah, but right now the deck, one thing I like about them, it feels like they are focusing on designing the game and not designing the deck. So a lot of times when you have games that do design those theme decks, they tend not to be like good balance. And what they're really trying for with the deck are the casual friendly kings, and they're focusing more on the set, tapping all the cards or making everything available also in the set. So,
Bottom line, I'm going to pick up one of each of the starter decks just because, but
honestly, I have bought like 4 copies of each previous starter deck.
I've only bought one of each starter deck.
You're stronger than the rest of us.
I mean, like, at a certain point, it's just like, well, there's one card I don't have a full playset in the deck. I guess I'll just buy the starter deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of times I just give away the extra cards.
Yeah, it is nice too when you have a spare starter deck on hand. You can give it to someone being unopened, even if you took the pack out and say, okay, let's just jam a game.
And I do. I have one of the starter sets where I have not broken the cards out. They're literally, I have them set aside for people that want to come for me to teach the game. I pull those out.
Yeah.
I don't use my decks that I built to teach people how to play the game.
Yeah, right now I have 3 different starter decks, which I'm thinking I'm probably going to get rid of those and switch them out with the new one, since the new ones have locations in them. And that's going to be a better teaching tool.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, that's where the name starter deck comes from. It's to get you started in the game. So this it's great to teach people how to play this game, but I'm not thrilled about all the card choices this time around.
Okay. So we're gonna move on to card of the week. Every week we pick one card and we're gonna talk about it for a little bit. This week the card is Mickey Mouse Wayward Sorcerer.
I feel that theme coming back with the magic brooms.
Also with Mickey. Mickey's iconic. We have to do a Mickey card.
So Scott, do you want to read off the card?
It is a 4-drop. It has a willpower of 3 and
Strength of 3.
strength of 3, willpower of 4. I always get those two mixed up. What one is... I keep using terms from other TCGs. The abilities is Animate Broom. You pay 1 less ink to play broom characters. And Ceaseless Worker. Whenever one of your broom characters is banished in a challenge, you may return that card to your hand. Has 2 lore, and that's the card. It is based off of the Mickey Mouse from Sorcerer's Apprentice in Fantasia.
And the flavor text says, he always goes for the clean sweep.
I'm super happy. When I first saw that card, I was like, oh yeah, Broom Tribal, excited for it, love it. Like, I like the artwork with him. I've always liked the Sorcerer and Mickey artwork, but like, I like how they went for a pointed hood in this one instead of if you're not even looking at it, it doesn't even look that pointed. That's a long hood. Instead of going for the big blue hat.
So this card is, this is me, my Disney background. This card is a Dreamborn. So for those who don't know what that means, a Dreamborn card is a card where they took the idea of the character from a movie or the TV show and extended it. Like, where would that character be if it continued on the path it was on? This is a possible, like, you could see the Sorcerer's Apprentice growing up to become this Wayward Sorcerer.
Mm-hmm.
It has the elements of the Sorcerer's Apprentice. It has the cloak. It has the pointed hat. But yeah, I agree. I like that they changed it to fit the character, not the story.
I like the concept of it being a more advanced one. Like in the Fantasia, the Sorcerer's Apprentice story, he doesn't really have control of the broom. It's kind of like chaotic.
It is. And it's actually because he fell asleep.
Yeah.
He fell asleep and his dream self caused the brooms to come awake.
The idea of him now taking that moment and now controlling the broom and leading the broom, I think it's very satisfying.
It is. I like that they took that concept of the Sorcerer's Apprentice and showed you what would happen if he became the sorcerer. The Disney fanboy in me is absolutely loving the Dreamborn cards for that reason.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And also, like, his abilities are good. He make the broom cheaper, so a lot. I think like half the brooms you can play for one now.
He's only good if you like magic brooms.
And you should like magic brooms. They are great. Don't there's only one bad broom.
I mean, so yeah, let's get to the stat lines of the card, because I think, if you take out the broom synergy, he was slightly understated, but he's not bad. I mean, a 3/4 that has 2 lore for 4, that's not bad, because you can compare it to a typical vanilla, which is going to be your 3-drop inkable, 3/4 quest for 1 wardrobe in the same color. So you can kind of do the math and say, okay, for 1 more ink, I get an additional lore, which isn't bad. On most cards, I'd pay 1 more ink maybe to get an additional lore pip on it. And you also get 2 abilities to hopefully supercharge your deck in certain ways, or makes you play in a completely different way. And again, like I said earlier in this episode, I love when cards say, I was playing this kind of a strategy, and now we're just flipping it up on its head, and everyone has to adapt.
Yeah, and the fact that like he make the broom cheaper to play, and they go back to his hand, so it allows you to be aggressive with the broom. The broom, the specific one, the maggot broom that came in the first chapter. Every time you play that, you return the card screen card back to your deck. People were using that to stop the Milgax. Because you were getting, like, you could easily get like 5 or 6 triggers of those maggot brooms because of the Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
And he's inkable, so if you have like 2 maggots, and his effect stack, so if you have 2 of them, you can play a maggot broom for only 1.
Yeah, that's always fun when you can reduce the cost of a card down to 0.
Yeah.
Just like that's where the game starts to feel broken.
Yeah.
When you get to do things like that. Yeah. So I think it's a great card. I would definitely be happy to see this in a sealed. Even if I only had 1 broom, even if I had no brooms, I'm still probably picking this up over a lot of other vanilla cards, just for the fact that people are gonna try to target this and take it out.
Yeah.
Because they don't want you to get that extra value off of returning brooms or doing anything else crazy.
And also, like, if we ever get, like, a Lorcana TV show, like, I feel like there's a good chance this might be the character that the main character have. Or we're going to see some main characters that are going to be his iconic cards.
Mm-hmm. So, Scott, you said you watched the movie.
Yes.
How do you feel like this card and the art and the effects plays to that movie's...
it plays really well, because, again, this is a Dreamborn card, so it's not the character exactly from the movie. It's what would happen if that character grew up. Basically, to boil down simply. And so I like the fact that they took that character of Mickey Mouse, who in Sorcerer's Apprentice showed that they had great power to do magic. They just couldn't control it. This is a controlled character. You can tell by the way it's using its abilities that they mastered magic. They mastered the magic brooms. They know what they're doing. So Dreamborn cards are most likely my favorite in the cards because of that. They do a very good job of taking the characters that we all love and showing them in a way that we all imagined them to be when we were kids watching these movies. Mm-hmm. This card, artwork-wise, it's great. It does bring in elements of the outfit that Mickey wore in Sorcerer's Apprentice, but it does change it for Lorcana. The only thing that I'm kind of like going back and forth on is I don't know if I like his ears sticking out of the hood like that.
You have to have the ear, though.
But the hat in Sorcerer's Apprentice just sat on his head and his ears were still popping out. So I don't know if I like the fact that his ears are coming out of the robes.
Oh man, do not get me started on animated Mickey Mouse and his ears. I've been watching through like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse with my daughter who's turning 3 soon. And
The ears are everywhere.
it's crazy. Yeah, you watch. There was like an entire scene where Minnie has her bow on her head, and she's looking at the camera, so her ears are in a normal spot. And she turns sideways, and of course the ears rotate, so that way they now look like the ears are on the front and the back part of her head. And then she rotates again, and all the while her bow is like looping around. And it's like this magical line. You know, there's like some unwritten rule of how the ears have to be drawn on, so that way they're always perpendicular to the screen. But yeah.
The other thing, this Mickey Mouse, when I first looked at it, it also brought in elements of the way Mickey looked in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
With the black robe, his ears still sticking out. Yes.
Yeah.
Again, the ears stick out of everything.
I think
Need them to.
this is definitely, yeah, if you were to compare this to the other Mickey Mouse cards that we've seen, he's definitely much more like determined looking, more, you know, either towards a goal or menacing or whatever else, where the other ones are like, come on over, be my friend, inviting everyone over to the party. And this one, you know, this Mickey looks like we're ready to go to fight, you know.
With an army behind him.
Yep.
He has those magic brooms coming behind him.
Each of them carrying buckets.
Yep, I got a playmat coming with him on it and the different brooms. Very excited.
Yeah. The other cool part about the art on this card is that they actually included the amethyst symbol on his robe. So it's always fun spotting things like that.
Yeah, and it's showing up on a lot of cards they did that on. Mm-hmm. Some of them are buried in the background, but they're there. This one's more prominent right there on his robe.
So, last question I have about the art, because I haven't seen, or it's been so long since I've seen the movie, the staff that he's holding here, is that...
No correlation whatsoever
so
to...
that's probably something that's tied into the Lorcana lore.
Even the wizard in Sorcerer's Apprentice didn't even have a staff or anything.
Okay.
So this is tied directly into just this version of the card.
Okay, I like it. It's it looks really, really cool. I rewatched some of those lore videos. You know, here's a little spoiler for next week when we talk about the lore. And yeah, the ink casters or the wands or whatever the staves you want to call them that they're using just all look pretty cool. They all have the kind of unique style and feel to them. So I wonder if this is in any way related to those. So,
Well, thank you all for listening. Hope you all enjoyed it. Next call of the week will be Beat Whoopbane. And we're going to be doing a lore episode to talk more about the lore that you have to follow Lorcana.
So excited. I'm so excited for next week. So, well, again, thanks for listening.
Event awaits.